erotic dosing, like, yes, less is more, and we're gonna get into like what I would recommend broadly, but like I really want you to consider the value of consistently recalibrating your relationship with the plant, in that like your needs and your consumption habits may shift over time, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're abandoning the plant altogether, but you may need less today than you did last month or last year. You may need more. That's also fine. But like constantly being in a state of curiosity and wanting to figure out what is best for you in any given moment is going to be really valuable for you, rather than just being like, well, I always do this, so this is what I do, and I'm just going to do that. Right. So for erotic dosing, as it relates to edibles, especially, because we know it can take up to 2 full hours for an average person, up to 4 full hours for people that are on GLP-1 meds because it slows down your digestion. That's a little bit of a tough moving target to figure out exactly when it's going to be hitting you in a way that's going to feel good for sexy times. So again, kind of see my previous recommendation around taking the time to um, figure that out when you're masturbating, so that you know in a partnered space, oh, okay, I need this much time, like set a timer, and then you have a good sense. But 2.5 to 5 milligrams is plenty for most people. Now, again, if you are a recreational user or a medicinal user and you are like frequently going 100, 200 plus milligrams, then like your mileage may vary, right? So, if you're a consumer with a high tolerance, I would still only do 1 or 2 hits of an inhalable product, and like cut your edibles dose in about half. For flower, and it's really hard these days because the consumer market has been really fixated on high THC percentages, which all of us in the plant space know is not actually better. It doesn't get you higher. It's actually just getting you closer to having unpleasant reactions faster. I like to stay in the 12 to 18% THC range with flower if you can for sex. Above 22, you're like really potentially like leaning into ab reaction territory. And yeah, the best way to find out your ideal dose, take a bit, wait until you notice the effects, masturbate, and then decide if the effects are making pleasure more or less accessible. Are you getting closer to where you want to be with intimacy or farther away? Let's talk a little bit about perimenopause and menopause because it's a thing and it's coming for all of us. Um, a lot of folks that I spoke to have shared with me that cannabis has been very helpful for them as they navigate perimenopause and menopause and beyond, especially as it relates to sleep and mood and anxiety, but we still don't have a ton of evidence. So just know that we're still figuring it out. And so the more, kind of self research you can do, keeping a log of, I was having this experience, I used this product or this much smoking or this strain or whatever, and this is what I noticed the result was, like that is going to be really helpful to you. Cannabis is super helpful with thermoregulation, as the endocannabinoid system is responsible for homeostasis, as we all know. Thermoregulation kind of falls under that umbrella. And so a lot of women and folks with uteruses and ovaries report that it's great for hot flashes. So that's a win. Also understanding that higher estrogen levels can make you more sensitive to the effects of THC. So as you know, in perimenopause, when your hormone levels are all over the place, you may be more sensitive or less sensitive on any given day based on what your hormone levels are. And as your hormone levels, diminish over time, you may find that you actually do need more cannabis to have the similar effects that you did from, 20 years ago. So just be aware of that. Pleasure is so much about an ecosystem. It's not just one thing. It's never just one thing. Set and setting, we hear that talked about in cannabis, in psychedelics. It matters in sex too. You can create conditions that support pleasure by having a playlist or sexy lights or a sexy environment or a really emotionally safe context. Because if you feel unsafe, if your head's going, I think my partner might be mad at me. My partner maybe thinks I'm fat. My partner maybe thinks that I'm taking too long to come. That soundtrack is going to fuck up your orgasm and your pleasure every time. So checking in, being like, hey, my head's going a million miles a minute. Can I get some reassurance? Or hey, let me just take a little puff of a 1-to-1 CBD to THC.